Hi everyone, welcome to the Autocad learning tutorials. Let's start. Okay, let's open up our Autocad file. Press plus in here. Now, this is an infinite space. You can draw whatever you want, wherever you want. On the top, we see some toolbars. First part is for drawing. Second part for modifications. We have annotation tools, layers, blocks, properties, groups, utilities, clipboards, and view. We're gonna cover them later on. At the bottom, we have command line where you can write down whatever you want to create. Let's write line. Let's say I want to create line. After you write line, you can either press on the space or the enter. But I prefer to use space because I basically write down the word and I press space with my thumb, which is more practical. Now it says specify the first point, so it guides me. First, second, third. Now I'm closing my shape. But as you can see, I need to finish it. I can press either escape or space in this case. I'm pressing escape on my keyboard. Now, to zoom in and zoom out, I'm using scroll in and scroll out on my mouse. To do the pen movement, I'm pressing on the scroll on my mouse. To select something, I'm just pressing an empty space. I clicked and I released my finger. And I choose it like this. This green window is the selection window. Now I've chosen all of the lines. In order to deselect all of them, I'm pressing escape. To select it partially, I can click on it, or I can use my window again. To deselect any line, I'm pressing shift. As you can see, there is a minus appearing right next to my mouse, and I'm clicking. I can also create line using this draw toolbar. I'm pressing line and I'm drawing my shape. Escape, escape. Let's create another shape. Now again, I'm gonna use the command line, but you don't always have to click on the command line. You can just start writing so it recognizes. C for circle, space, rec, space, rec for rectangle, polygon. I need to define the number of sides. Let's say 3, space. Okay, before we dive into more, since we have to work with measurements, we have to set the unit. This is very, very important. Please set the unit as soon as you open up your Autocad file. To set the units, we write units, space. I need to set my unit. I'm choosing centimeters in this case and press OK. Now I know that everything I draw in here, it's in centimeters. So my drawing is accurate. Okay, let's test this. Okay, I write line and I specify my first point. Okay, another important thing is to draw straight lines, 90-degree lines. I need to activate the ortho. To activate it, I'm pressing on F8 on my keyboard, or you can press in here as well. Now I know that I'm drawing with straight lines. To deactivate it, again I'm pressing F8. As I move my mouse, you can see the number changing. I'm writing 100, 50, 100. Now I can write 50, or I can click on the first vertex, or I can press C for closure, C space. Let's change the color. I'm changing color from properties. Escape, escape. From the annotation, we have dimension tools. I choose one of them. See, it's 100. Let's measure this part as well, and 50. Now I know that my drawing is accurate and it's in centimeters. Okay, we have another line type, which is polyline. Let's see the difference. PL for polyline, 100, 50, 100, C for closure. Let's change the color again. Okay, let's see the difference between them. The line consists of separate lines, but the polyline is a continuous line. Working with polylines is more practical, but don't worry, if you work with lines, you can join them later or separate them later. Okay, I'm selecting these separate lines. If I write join, now it's a continuous line. To separate these lines, I press X for explode. Now I know how to create straight lines. But what if I want to work with degrees? Okay, 100. Now, let's say I want to create a 30 degree. I want to go up with 30 degree. I press less than sign on my keyboard and then I write down my degree, 30, enter. Now let's say I want to go down with 30 degree again. Again, I'm pressing less than sign on my keyboard, minus 30, enter. Now, another very important thing, to activate Auto Snap, which is F11 on my keyboard. So, what is it for? Let's say I want to create something aligning with this line. If I press F11, I go to that vertex and I go back to my line. You see, it guides me. It creates some sort of guidance. Now I click and I know that now they are aligned. Let's say 100 again. Now I can get a guidance again. See, from here as well. Again, C for closure. So this is how Auto Snap works. You can also press on in here. Okay, another polyline. Let's say 100 again. Now I have another case. Let's say I want to go 100 centimeters with 30 degree. Now I need to specify the distance and the degree as well. In order to do that, I'm pressing @ sign on my keyboard. I give the distance first, let's say 100. Now I press tab on my keyboard. Now I write down the degree, 30. Let's test the accuracy. Creating a polyline here as well. Let's change the color. Okay, let's check the degree first. This and this, 30 degree. Let's check the distance. It's 100. So this is basically how you draw it. Okay, when you select a line or shape, you see there are rectangles and squares appearing. These are our vertices and midpoints. The squares are our vertices, rectangles are our midpoints. You can think them like they are control points that you can change or connect with something. You see, they recognize each other like a magnet. We can also modify them. If I get close to one of them, I'm not clicking it, I'm just on top of it. I can go to convert to arc. I clicked on it. Now it turned into an arc. You can create arc with different ways as well. We have arc in here. Let's say I want to create 3-point arc. I'm just basically clicking 1, 2, 3. As I mentioned before, these vertices can attach to each other like a magnet. how we create these magnets. In order to activate that, we have something in the toolbar, which is Snap Tools. You can write down OSnap, OS for OSnap, and it gives you these options. It means that if you tick them, it recognizes these points and it gets attracted by these points. Now in this case, I have endpoint, midpoint, center, and intersections. You can also add a vertex or remove a vertex. You just basically click on the shape and go over it. I'm not clicking it right now. Now I choose the option remove vertex and I click on it. It just basically removes it. So deleting doesn't work in this case. Normally, if you want to delete something, let's say I have a circle in here, I can either press E for erase space, or I can just press on delete. Okay, let's create another shape, rectangle, rec space. I specify my first point. It says area, dimension, rotation. Now I want to give the dimensions to create my rectangle. I can press in here, or I can write D for dimension. Let's click in this case. Now it says specify the length for rectangles. Let's say 50. Now it asks me the width of the rectangle. Let's say 100 space. Now I need to decide where to put it. Click. Another thing, you can create an array. So these are my rays. Why this is different from the line? The ray is infinite. We use that for guidance generally. Let's draw a circle in dimensions. C for circle. I specify the first point and I move it. D for diameter. And I'm gonna give the dimension 50. Okay, let's check the accuracy. I'm choosing diameter. Yeah, it's 50. Another line type is spline. SPL for spline, space. I'm deactivating ortho, F8. Click and drag. Okay, space. With spline tool, you can create organic shapes. Okay, to create a text, I'm writing text. My start point, the length. Let's write line, because we created a line in here. This is basically how you create a text. Okay, let's move on to the modification tools. So after I create this text, I want to move it somewhere else. You can write move or M for move space. Okay, this is how you move things. Okay, when you move something, the base point is very important. Let's say I have a rectangle like this, polyline. I have 100 distance. Now I want to move this rectangle in here. I choose my shape. I press M. Now, if I choose this point to move, I can't snap it very well, you see. So in order to do that, I press on move. I choose this base point. Now I can snap it in here. Okay, to copy something, take it back. I'm pressing Ctrl Z or U space for undoing it. To copy something, CO for copying, space. Now I choose my base point. Again, I'm choosing this and I copy it in here. Now let's say, again, I want to copy this with 100 distance. I don't have to copy this line again and again. CO for copying, space. Now I choose this point as a base point. This point doesn't belong to my shape. I'm just choosing a point from the drawing. I clicked. Now I choose this point for copying. I can repeat it again and again. And now I know that this distance is 100. Let's check. Let's change the color first, not to mix up annotation line with my lines. So it's 100. I'm pressing space to repeat it. To create a neat drawing, to make them justified, click, click, and I'm clicking in here. Lastly, now they are justified. The traditional Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V also works. Okay, to rotate something, RO for rotation. I specify the base point again. Let's say this one. I'm deactivating my ortho like this. Okay, in order to rotate with angles, RO for rotation, I specify the base point. Now I can give the angle, let's write 30 again. Let's check the accuracy. Okay, it's 30 degrees. Okay, let's create rotation to align with something. RO for rotation, specify base point, this one. I'm pressing R for reference, or I can click in here. Let's write R for reference. I choose these points. These are my reference points. And then I click points, or I can write P space, this and this. Now it's aligned. We can use rotation like this as well. Okay, another good thing is, let's say you draw a circle, you create a polygon, create a subline, and then let's say you delete this one, or you accidentally delete this one, and then you keep drawing, create a rectangle, and then you notice that you delete it. If you undo it, I'm gonna lose the rectangle as well. I don't want to lose the rectangle, I want the polygon back as well. In order to do that, we write oops. Oops, space. Now I have both of them. Okay, another modification tool is trim and extend. Okay, I create a rectangle. C for circle, midpoint. Okay. Polyline, polyline. Okay, another modification tool is mirror. I want to mirror this circle. Me for mirror. I'm choosing the mirroring point. Let's say this one. Okay. It says, should I erase the source object, the first object? I'm saying no. And for no. CO for copying. I'm copying it in the middle. Now I want to trim the unnecessary lines. In order to do that, we write TR for trim. We press on space twice, and then I basically trim the unnecessary lines. Okay, let's say I have a line in here. I didn't see it, but it's broken. In order to extend this line, I can just basically click and extend it, or you can write down TR for trim, double space, and then I press on shift. As you can see, if I get close to it, it extends it. If I release the shift, it works as a trim. If I press on shift, it it works as an extent. Okay, another modification tool is scaling. I choose my object. I specify my base point, let's say the middle point. Now it scales it. Let's say I want to scale it 2 times. I press 2. And that's it. Sometimes you need to use a specific object multiple times in your drawing. As you can see, we have lots of component lines in here. To copy this as a whole, to group this, we use blocks. Write B for blocks. So I need to give a name. I write football. I need to specify 3 things: the name, the pick point, and the objects. Don't change anything anywhere else. I choose a pick point. Let's choose this point, and I'm selecting objects, space. Now I press OK. Now it's a group, it's a block. And I can copy it anywhere I want. CO for copy. Let's say I'm somewhere else in the drawing and I want to recall it. If you write E for insert, it gives me all the blocks I created so far. So I choose football. Let's say I want to make a change in this drawing. Double click on it, I choose the football one. TR for trimming, double click. I say I forgot to delete these lines. And I close the block editor. It says save the changes. We say yes. Now it applied all of them. In that sense, it's very practical. Okay, another modification is offsetting. You can always explode a block pressing X. Not all of the blocks exploded, just this one. Okay, to offset something, we write O for offset, and then we specify the distance, let's say 50. We click on the things we want to offset, and then it asks where should I offset it. I want to offset it outside, and I click on it. So this is basically how the offset works. Okay, let's create another modification. To create a fillet, we press on F for fillet, and then we give radius. To do that, I'm pressing radius in here, or I'm pressing R for radius. Now I need to specify the radius. Let's say 10. And I click on the lines. I want to create the fillet. For fillet, R for radius, let's say 50, space, and I choose my lines to fillet. Let's check the radius. It's 50. Okay, let's change the color in here. The other one, it's 10. So it's basically fillets the corners with specific radiuses. Okay, to create a chamfer, we write CHA space. I'm gonna give a distance, D for distance, let's say 100, and the other one is 100 as well. This and this. So what it does is, let's create a line in here. Let's change the colors. So it created a chamfer with a specified distance, which is 100. And the second one is also 100. Okay. Let's say you have an hand drawing. You turn that into a vectorial drawing in Autocad. In order to do that, you just basically drag your file inside your Autocad. You click the first point. My ortho is active now, by the way, and I choose the scale. It doesn't matter now. I'm just clicking. It asks the rotation. Okay, let's say this is your hand drawing. Now I want to turn this into an accurate drawing. In order to do that, I get a reference from somewhere. I know the size of the door is 90 centimeters. So I create a line which is 90 centimeters. Okay. Let's change the color. Let's test the accuracy. Let's change the color of annotation as well. Okay. Now I have a door opening in here, and I have a 90 centimeters in here, and I create another line in here. Which will be my reference point. So I don't see my line in here. It sometimes happens. When I press on my scroll tool, I see my line is there, but I can't see it in here. I need to change the order. I click on this drawing. I'm pressing right click. I say draw order. I say send to back. Now my line is in here on the top, but since it's white, I can't see it. I just basically change the color to see it, okay? Now I see both of the lines, okay? To align this with this one, first I deactivated my ortho. AL for aligning. Okay, I'm selecting the objects to align. I'm gonna align this drawing and this line. Space. Now I'm gonna show that this vertex will be in here. This vertex will be in here. Space. Now it asks me if I want to scale this object. If I say no, it just moves the drawing in there. If I say yes, it scales it. Press yes. Now I know that this door opening is 90 centimeters. Now I can draw everything accordingly. Okay, let's talk about layers. As you keep drawing, you will see that you will need some sort of hierarchy in your drawing. In order to create that, we need to create a layering system. So, like, we write LA for layers, space. You see, we just have the 0. To create a new layer, we press this one, new layer, okay? Let's say walls and change the color. Okay, every time I draw something in this layer, it will be yellow and it will be in different layer. You can also give some line weights and plot options. Let's create another one. Let's say windows. Another color. Stairs. Furnitures. And etc. Now when I look at here, I see the layer I'm in. To change that, I go to the layer I want to work with. Let's say I want to work with walls. I click on it. To make this the current layer, the layer that I'm gonna work for a while, I'm pressing make current. PL for polyline. Now I'm activating F8 for ortho. Now I'm creating my walls. I press Ctrl Z. I'm gonna get a reference from here. Okay. C for closure. So these are my outer walls. Create them roughly. I can create an offset now. O for offset. 20. I'm gonna create inside walls. So you can create another layer for inside walls and all that. Okay, let's say I want to create my stairs. I go to my stairs layer and make it current. Rectangle. Copy. Polyline. CL for copying. TR for trimming. I can also create another layer for annotation. If you see this check in here, it means that it's the current layer. C for circle, line, polygon, free. Okay. So I created annotation as well. My stairs, my walls, annotation. I can go to furnitures, make it current, escape, escape. Rectangle. You can always modify your lines. Let's explode it and copy this. Okay. Create a block for this, let's say. Okay. Now I can copy it freely. Let's rotate it. As you can see, I'm using almost all of my modification tools. Me for mirroring. Okay. No, let's mirror it again. Okay. No. Right. Now I can block this as well. I create another block so I can copy it later on. Okay. To move something from one layer to another, I just choose the drawing, I go to that layer. Let's move this to annotation. Escape, escape. Let's make it current. Okay. I copy this rectangle. To check my drawing, I sometimes move this in here. Okay, another thing is creating an hatch. To do that, we press H for hatch. We specify the area we would like to apply. And we can change the pattern in here. You can change the angle. You can change the scale of it. Let's create another hatch in here. Let's choose this one, change the angle. Let's change the scale. And this is how we create the hatch. You can change the color. That's it. Sometimes you have intersection of different shapes. If you press H, let's make it solid. Let's create another in here. Let's move this hatch. It's movable. Let's say you like this shape and you want to keep it, but you want to delete the hatch. In order to do that, I choose the hatch and right click and I say generate boundary. Now if I move this, I can keep the shape and I can delete it if I want. We can also change line weights. Let's say I want to make these wall lines thicker. I can change it here or I can change it from the layers. Let's use this part for this case. Let's say 30 millimeters. Now I don't see it. I give it a thickness. I can see this when I'm plotting, but to see it on my screen, I activate line weight in here. Let's see. Here. And here. See. To plot something, we press Ctrl P, DWG to PDF, and then we choose the paper size. Let's say A3. We will use in a landscape form. We choose window to choose the area. Click. I press on center the plot to center my drawing on my paper. I undo the click on this fit to paper. Okay. The important thing in here is Autocad works with millimeters, but our drawing is centimetric. So, in order to set that, let's say I want to work with 1 to 100 scale. So I write 10 and 10 on the top because I work with centimeters, and 100 at the bottom for the units. Now let's choose my window again and let's preview it. So this is my paper and this is my drawing in scale, and you say OK. Let's save it. Now it's on A3 paper, it's printable and it's in scale. Okay, I think it's pretty much of it. Thanks for watching.